artificial intelligence is spoken of by many, but really understood by a few. The emergence of ChatGPT has led to AI becoming the talk of the town. So what is AI, how it works, and can it really do everything? These are the many questions that come to mind, for which we have Brigadier Pawan Bhardwaj, Senior Research Fellow at USI. Good morning, Brigadier Bhardwaj. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Brigadier Bhardwaj, my first question to you, what is AI?
Okay, very interesting question, thank you. See, AI is actually a series of actions which are always learning from their previous steps. So, it's a complex network of algorithms, of hardware, which is trying to run a software. It's a very complex system, and the system is always learning on itself. Now, let me digress here a little. How does a human child learn? Human child learns by observation, repetition, reiterations, and corrections. Now, this step of recognizing a thing, correcting itself is an iterative process. Human babies take this step number of times before they learn, and this is the basic, or this is the most logical step. Artificial intelligence follows this logical step. Okay. Now, if artificial intelligence follows this step, let me explain it with an example. Let's say we have a camera which is pointed towards a park, and we want the camera to indicate to us how many cats are there in the park. Okay, when people get their cats and dogs to walk. So how it happens is, the scientists identify cat pictures. They take loads and loads of cat pictures. They mark those pictures. There is a scientific process. There's a process to mark those pictures, process to mark certain features of the cat. Now, what are the features of the cat? Very typically, I'm sure you'll relate to it. Cats have got round eyes. They got small snouts. They got small pointy ears. Now, this is a snapshot of a cat. Now, if we want to include the movement of the cat, how does the cat walk? It walks very softly. It walks very sensually. It has got a long tail which is wagging very slowly in a low amplitude. Now, all this data is created and put up in a database. Okay. All these features are typically marked, they are highlighted. Then the scientists create algorithms, which are rules for the camera or rules for the computer to get back to the images and try to learn those features. So it is learning everything with pointy ears, everything with round eyes, everything with slow wagging of the tails, long tails is a cat. Okay. So the system tries to learn that. Once that learning is completed, the scientists put this system to test, like the child is tested. So system is put to test, and the system tries to identify if the features all come together, is this particular object a cat? It will do some mistakes. The scientist points out those mistakes. The mistakes are given to the rules again. The rules try to reiterate themselves, and then they try to reorient their observation. This goes on, there are a number of repetitions. This goes on and on till the time the camera is able to identify cats almost correctly. Now, it depends on the need of the scientist. Once all this is done, the camera or the system is now AI proven, but it is trained only for cats. It can do no other job.
So, identifying any other animal?
Okay. Now, if you want, for example, in the same case, if you want the same system to identify dogs, the rule would be anything which is cat is possibly a dog. Okay, so that's a very simple logic. But dogs have got different features. Yes. So they may be other animals, they may be humans. So you have to now say everything which is not cat is dog, but the dog should have longer snout. It should be higher than the cat. It may or may not have a tail. It will walk a little more swiftly. It will have different, kind of bodily, expressions. So the system is now trained to identify dogs as well. So very typically you have to understand the AI system is all about what you want it to do. So you train it, you test it, you correct it, and then you keep training it till the time you are certain it will do. So AI system is meant to give you one product, one output. So this is a very simple system. You put 3 of these questions together or 3 of these systems together, you get a bigger AI system which can do a little more. So it is an iterative process which goes a lot into correction, lot into relearning itself, and that is all about AI. So if I can condense it all, AI is all about breaking down major tasks into simple logical steps. If we as human can break down complex tasks into small logical steps, AI system is ready. But it is not as easy as it sounds. It's a very complex system. You require data scientists, you require programmers, you require software engineers, you require AI engineers to group all this together. So that is AI in a gist.
So basically you train a machine to do a job which humans do, but you train it to do it mechanically.
Okay.
To save effort in the future.
Yes, you can say that. The process remains same.
Okay.
For us, the learning may come very naturally, but for machines, you have to make it natural for the machine.
Okay.
So you create rules. So AI scientists will create a lot of rules. See the ears first. If it is small, pointy, it is probably a cat.
Okay.
But even dogs have.
Yes.
Then you look at the snout. If the snout is small, it is definitely a cat. Probably not a dog. Probably. Now, the way it is moving, if it is slow, languid, sensual move, it is definitely a cat, definitely not a dog. So these are the rules which have to be created, and the system reads those images, reads that data as per the rules. So that is how the AI is created.
Okay. So, all that means is that AI is a tool to help humans do a task better. So, can it actually do a physical task as well? I mean, outside of identifying.
Yes, it can do. See, again, like we are talking, it's all about logical steps. If I can say, in theory, artificial intelligence has got, two ways to define itself based on the task it does. The first is called AI at rest, and the second one is AI in motion. So when you say AI at rest means that there is no physical activity happening in the physical domain. Everything is in a computer system. All the calculations, all the training, all the testing is happening in a computer system.
Like identifying cats.
Now, this system gives input to the humans. So this system is at rest. It is not moving out of that software domain or that hardware domain. It is within a complex system.
All right.
So AI at rest typically helps human to make decisions or to take decisions. It doesn't take decisions or it doesn't do any physical activity. For example, in the same cat example, maybe there was a reason for us to understand how many cats visit the park because we want to make maybe more cat playgrounds for them. Because there are some people who said that cat playgrounds are less than dog playgrounds, so we want to make more cat playgrounds. So this particular system will allow the humans to take that decision. Okay, cats are just about 50%, we got one playground for them, one playground for dogs, which is sufficient. If the system says cats are 80%, then probably we'll require to make one more playground for them within that park. So it is a decision-making tool. Now let me take an example. This AI at rest may seem very innocuous, it may seem very, I'll say low-key, very inefficient or something. It is not like that. It can be weaponized. In 2021, Israel undertook an operation against Hamas. This operation was known as Guardians of the Wall operation. In this operation, they showcased that AI at rest was very useful. So what they did was, previous to this operation decision, they were trying to identify some people, some humans who were either, let's say, bomb makers or who were terrorists or who were taking decisions for the Hamas as per Israelis. So they followed them. They followed them on social media. They followed them through various cameras they have. They followed them through telephone calls. They followed them through special forces operations, human intelligence. And they corroborated them. And they made a kind of picture of how this particular gentleman is doing his day-to-day activity.
Data curation.
This data curate. They curated data from various sources. It can be human source, it can be live, it can be telephone, everything. So once this data is curated, they kept it. They also kind of identified his movement patterns. So let's say if this gentleman was a bomb maker, they identified where he was making bombs, who were the people who were interacting with him, where was he buying his or getting his resources from. So they followed him. When the operation was launched, they were able to correlate this previously curated information to actual actions on ground. So if they were looking for this particular bomb maker, they were able to pinpoint his location, and then they were able to send in their kinetic forces, their special forces, their air force or their artillery to target that individual. So they were doing this activity before the actual operation, but they used this activity during operation. They used this information gained from this activity during the operation. So this is AI at rest. So AI did not do anything, but AI helped the humans to take a decision.
Okay.
Now this is very interesting. Now on the contrary, what is AI in motion? As the phrase says, AI which is in motion. Now I said earlier, AI is a complex interface of hardware, software, programs, data. Can it work? Can it operate on its own? No, it cannot. But the decisions which the AI takes can be translated to a physical activity through actuators. Let me explain it. We have a self-driving car. We all know what a self-driving car is. Okay, we may not know, but self-driving car is a car which drives itself. Let's take a situation in which car is going in a controlled environment in a laboratory. It is supposed to halt somewhere because it's a red light at the cross section. So the AI sees the red light, applies the brake on that car. This application of the brake is the software taking a decision to actuate a physical actuator. So this actuator actually applies the brake and car comes to a halt. Now this activity is known as AI in motion. Now it can also be weaponized. Same thing. Let's say the same gentleman who we were targeting, the Israelis were targeting. Let's say if the decision was that this gentleman is really bad, he's not good for the country, and he has to be eliminated without prejudice. So this information goes to an artillery battery, and artillery battery fires without a human loop. So that is AI in motion.
So the difference between the two is the decision-making process.
Yes. The decision in the physical realm. Now, for example, in the AI in motion, let's say you have a plantation, where you are curating some plants, but you are tired of weeds also. There are weeds, there are insects. So imagine you have a vehicle or you have a camera which is grouped with a de-weeder, it's like a plucker, and you have a small spray bottle on it which has got pesticide. Now this camera is traveling over that bed of roses or bed of any plants. The camera identifies a rose plant, a weed, a rose plant, a weed, because it has been trained. Like I said, the database says anything which is not a rose is a weed. Okay. So it identifies weed 1. The moment it identifies weed 1, it gives an indicator to the de-weeder. So de-weeder is a physical plucker. So the physical plucker goes down, plucks out the weed. Okay. Then second is, it is taking the photograph of the rose. It says no, it has got little requirement to give it a pesticide because there seems to be some disease on it. It gives the indicator to that spray bottle, which is a pesticide. That nozzle comes down, gives that just a minute spray there. Now imagine how easy it is. There is no human involved. You are not using excessive pesticide, but the plants are thriving because all the weeds, as and when they grow, they are being plucked out. So this is AI in motion. Now here 3 agents are working. The earlier system was only, let's say, like I was saying, information coming from various sources. Here also, information is coming from camera, but who's using the information?
The machine.
The machine is using, because the machine will stop wherever the issue is. So there is a brake, it's an actuator. The same camera information is gone to the de-weeder because de-weeder will go down and pluck out that weed. There's another actuator which will activate the pesticide, which will go down and spray that little amount of pesticide. So this is a multiple agent AI. So more number of agents are working, it becomes a little more complex. So that is how the AI in motion will also work. So they have pros and cons. Both will work. Both have their own uses, which are phenomenal. And it's for us humans to understand how to use them.
Alright. So the most asked question about AI is that, can AI really replace humans? And as things are going, especially for the lower skilled jobs, the general fear is that they are going to remove the need for unskilled labor.
Okay. In short, if I have to say, will AI replace humans? I will not say. I will not say they will replace. I would say they would energize humans. Let me go back to AI in motion and the Israeli example again. They have a project by name of Project Carmel. Now, See, what happens is when in military, when you're going for combat, you are sitting in a combat vehicle. That combat vehicle has got soldiers who drive that vehicle,
Yes.
and there are soldiers who get out at the point of contact and they actually do the fighting. So there are two sets of people. Now in Project Carmel, they have created an AI. They've tried to create AI in which the driving part has been given to AI.
Okay.
So the combat unit sits there, they point out their objective, and the system starts driving on its own. How is it driving? It has got its own self-driving mechanism, it has got a weapon system, and it has got communication system. So it is receiving inputs. Okay, if I go on route A, there is a bridge which is been blown off, so I cannot drive through that. So immediately it reroutes itself through a route B, which may be longer, but it has got no interference.
Okay.
While it's driving on route B, it identifies, okay, there is a physical threat of enemy towards the right. So this particular AI system tells the weapon, which is a big gun on top of the that combat vehicle, to target that physical enemy. Now what is happening? All is being done by the machine, by the AI. The troop inside, the humans inside are free, they are mentally free to come out fresh at the point of decision. So they are fresh when they come out and they can fight. They are not bothered about the reach to the objective.
Alright.
So this is what they are doing.
So you've basically outsourced a part of the process.
Yes. Now while you're doing this, I'm not saying that humans have been replaced. Humans have been removed for higher order jobs.
Okay.
Now in combat, I'm not saying that driver has a poor job, but his job is still driving. But imagine the driver is driving, after he reaches that place, you expect him to get down and start fighting. That's not fair on him. So what happens here is, out of the driver, he's still driving, but he's got no other job. Somebody else is firing, the machine is firing.
Okay.
The people who are supposed to actually fight are not involved in fighting en route. When they reach there, they are fresh. Their ammunition is available to them and they are ready to fight. So what is happening is, the humans have been relieved for a higher order job. In this situation, higher order job is actual fighting. So it's, it's something like when the doctor has to do surgery, the initial opening, or let's say, it's not that it is not easy or it's difficult or easy. The initial incision can be done by AI. But once you actually start touching the organs, the doctor takes on. So the doctor is relieved from that 15-minute duty to be fresh for his main work.
Major part.
Major part. So higher order human work.
Okay.
So it is not technically replacing. Now, we know that the robots have been here. We have seen photographs of cars being repaired or cars being made by robotic arms.
Yes.
Now it's a very repetitive process. A nut is picked up, nut is put, it is tightened to a certain torque, and it is repeated over millions of times. Humans can become tired of it. The machine will not. Okay.
Yes.
But do you really require artificial intelligence for it? No. There is a nut of 5 grams which is picked up. It travels about 15 centimeters, goes into a hole, and it is tightened to a particular torque. The 3 simple tasks. There is no intelligence required.
None.
So there is no change which will happen there. Now let me take you to a different scenario. We all know CEOs, the executive officers of the companies get paid for taking major decisions.
Yes.
They solve major problems. They anticipate the issues which the companies are likely to perceive in times to come, and they try to resolve before the problems come up. They are taking decisions. Their decision is based on information. What if he doesn't receive information in time? Or what if his interpretation of that information is wrong? Now they are at threat. The AI...
How so?
Okay.
Explain
now,
that part.
Okay. For example, let's say today you are talking to me. So you read 5 articles, you read about my biodata, and you selected me to come here. What if the article which you read was a fake? What if Pawan Bhardwaj did not write it? And you are asking questions to me on that. You are unaware that I am incapable of answering. But if an AI would do that, AI would check back, has Pawan Bhardwaj actually written that article?
Okay.
Has Pawan Bhardwaj ever mentioned about this article in any other forum? So he will check my social media profile. He will check my information profile and probably come out better inputs to you.
Okay.
Okay, do not talk to him, he's a better person to talk to.
Alright.
Because as a human, you may miss an input or you may underwrite the importance of the input. The machine will not do that. So I would say the CEO should be very worried that AI may replace him. But again, I will counter myself. Why does a CEO take a decision or why is he paid so much for a decision? Because he can argue his decision.
Yes.
If you are the boss of that CEO, would you be happy trying to justify the decision with the CEO or a machine?
CEO.
CEO, because he is able to explain it to you.
Yes.
Why he took that decision, which may sound incorrect. Machine presently may not be able to do it. And in artificial intelligence, this theory is known as explainability. How the machines work, how the artificial intelligence works, is something which is a different field. A machine has taken a decision. You may not be able to ask it the correct question, and the machine may not be able to explain the working to you. So it is it will take some jobs, yes. It will take all the jobs, definitely not.
Okay.
It will take other jobs, yes. It will replace humans for better jobs, definitely. The humans have got capability to do better jobs. So maybe these routine, mundane, repetitive jobs we hand over to AI systems and we do some other jobs. I would say, imagine, same you are trying to curate information. If you have an AI assistant, that assistant would be able to give you 20 different inputs.
That is true.
It would probably be able to tell you which input has got more importance over other. Probably it will give you a counter view which you are not aware of. So your research becomes actually better.
Yes.
So I would say AI would improve your ability rather than affecting it. So, this discussion can go on, but as of now, I would say AI is something which we should understand that it's a tool. It's a tool which can be used. It is a tool which should be exploited. Is it a tool to be worried about? No. Is it Skynet? Definitely not.
Because that is the general fear.
Yes.
AI becoming self-aware and...
Yes, it is a possibility. See, in 2017, there's a gentleman by the name of Nick Bostrom. He theorized a term known as super artificial intelligence.
Okay.
What he said was, what he still believes is that super intelligence is artificial intelligence which is self-aware. Now, what do you mean self-aware? You are aware that you are sitting here in this present time and you're talking to me. This is self-aware. Your laptop is not aware of this.
It is not.
Yeah. So, you are aware that you have a time constraint, you have to ask 5 questions. After that, you have to maybe, curate some other questions. While I'm asking you, if another point, while I'm answering to you, another point comes up, you get out another question for argument. So you are self-aware. So Nick Bostrom said that systems which are self-aware are likely to come. But his timeline, as per his theory of 2017, is 2070. 2070. He said probably AI systems would be 50% of the AI system would be touching human level. Touching human level, not even confirmed, and it is human level. Skynet is beyond human level. So,
it is.
In our lifetime, probably not. But who trains Skynet? We train it. Come back to the cats. If we train the camera only on cats, it will only find cats.
Okay.
So, if we train Skynet to hunt humans, it will hunt humans. So, I blame Skynet. So.
Okay, so how is AI helping humans then?
Okay. Like I said earlier, AI is a tool. How do we use it? It has got n number of uses. For example, let's talk about a hospital. You go to a hospital, you go to a general physician because you got headache, you have, you can't see properly, you feel itchy eyes, you're going to see a doctor. Now you don't know, should you go to an eye specialist or should you go to a neurophysician? Because you don't know. So imagine you enter a hospital, there is an AI assistant. What is AI assistant? Maybe, let's not look at humanoid versions. Let's say just a laptop and there is of human face because you like talking to humans.
Yes.
Let's say there's a human face which can be animated, can be anything. You give your details that I am so and so. It immediately gets your data from your previous visits.
Okay.
Now it has got that data to study. Then you say, okay, I've got itchy eyes. These are 7 days old and I got a little headache. I get the headache in the afternoon, I get headache during the early morning, I get it during hot sun or let's say whatever. It compiles all that. It is hearing you. It is looking at your previous medical history. It gives a tentative, it collects your tentative symptoms and identifies a doctor to go to. So it says, okay, you have probably eye problem, so please go to eye specialist. But your symptoms are also talking about, let's say, migraine, which may not be triggered by AI. So also, I will give you an appointment with a neurophysician. So isn't it easy for you? You do it quickly. There are 30, 40, hundreds of these assistants. Okay. You go to number 1, I go to number 5. And then once you go to the neurophysician, he's already free. He's not looking at a general patient. So you are happy because you've spoken to a guy or you've spoken to a machine which has given you personal inputs. The machine doesn't get tired. It is not 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the doctor is edgy or something like that. So you're comfortable.
So it's saving a lot of time.
Lot of time, lot of effort. Probably it is helping the patient to go to the right doctor. Probably it is identifying symptoms, which you think are simple or easy, but the machine identifies it as dangerous.
Okay.
Probably it will put you ahead on priority line. Probably it will advise you some tests which you thought are not required. So probably let's say no, you need to go to a MRI immediately. In the same situation, let's talk about a college student. He goes to a library. Same, he's got his assistant. He says, I want to study about artificial intelligence. I want to study about machine learning. Machine learning is, the algorithm which you write to teach the system.
Okay.
So the AI says, okay, that AI assistant says, okay, what do you already know? So he says, I know A, B, C, D. Say, okay, you don't know E. For E, these are the reference materials. Please read these reference materials and then you can come back to me. So it's like a ready-made guide to that student. So student can improve himself. Student has prepared a hypothesis. He puts it to the AI guide. He's look, I think I want to do this. Is it right? Or can I do it? So the AI says, okay, you can do it, but read resource number 73, 74, 79. They are lying in so and so, which are almost like this. It will help you.
Okay.
So it's education. You can do that. Let's say you go to a library. You want to find a particular book. Same assistant, you say, okay, I want to know about year so and so, so and so. I want to understand so and so, so and so incident. It says, okay, that is the book there. You can go and collect it. A future library says, please wait, I'm getting that book for you. A robot goes, actuator in motion, picks out book number 43, comes to you at the reception and hands it over to you.
Okay.
So there is no end to it. I'm just talking about physical assistance. Let's say there's a person, we have people with special abilities who are driving. Everybody knows about Stephen Hawking. He was talking.
Yes.
He was immobile, but he was talking through intelligent system. I will not say those systems were AI, but it is a possibility that there was an input of AI there as well. So there is no end to it. What we want to do out of AI is the human need.
Okay.
So if we define a good role for us, for that AI tool, it can do anything.
So from what I gather from what you have said, AI right now is helping humans save a lot of time which was earlier being wasted. Would you put it that way?
I would not say wasted. I would say repurposed. It is just focused your attention towards something which you probably missed, either because of ignorance or because of lack of time. So it is AI, AI is like a tool. This can only give me vision during daytime. Similarly, AI will only do what you want it to do. So if I want AI to look for resources to read, it will only do that. If I want AI to read resources, make a concise document and present it to me, it will do that. If I want AI to read, make concise document, prepare arguments against it, it will do that. But it depends what we want it to do. So it's a very simple tool. If we put more AI agents together, it will become a little more complex.
Understood. So you spoke a lot about collecting data and programming it within certain rules. Is AI all about programming and making the drafting the rules which it has to operate under?
No. See, like I said, AI, the cats have to train on cat photographs. Yes. So that is data. So AI thrives on data. Again, let's go back to the child. You speak Hindi at home.
Yes.
You want the child to learn Gujarati. So unless you have a Gujarati training with you, Gujarati speaking person with you, who can train your child, can your child train on Gujarati? No.
No.
So data is very important. Now, if data is important, you require somebody to get the data. So you have data scientists.
Yes.
You require somebody to group that data. You have data analysts. So there is no end to data.
So is AI all about programming and making the rules which it has to learn?
No. AI is much more than that. See, what happens is making the rules is one part. Now, there is traditional programming for traditional jobs of the computers. The moment you come to artificial intelligence, you require little more complex training models, you require complex training rules. So, therein comes in the machine learning, the deep learning, the neural networks. All this is a separate and a huge field. Everything has to do with training the system easier, training the system on harder training subjects. So there's a huge subject here about languages. Okay. Then it comes about data, like we were talking about in previous example. The cat's photographs are important for the system to learn what is a cat. So you require a lot of data. Imagine if you want to teach the system about 5 types of animals. Imagine if you want to teach the system about other things. So the data becomes huge. So herein comes the necessity of data curation.
Okay.
Now when the data comes in, it may be in form of word files, it may be form of pictures, it may be form of videos. You require somebody to sort out that data. You require data curators. You require data scientists. And then the language models, like we were talking earlier, all those have to train on this. So it is not about programming only. Now, this data is residing somewhere. The AI system has to talk to this data. If the AI system is big, it requires big data. Big data cannot reside everywhere. It has to reside on a server somewhere.
Yes.
So, you require the data to talk to your system. So, probably it is cloud computing. So, it is lying somewhere else, geographically different from you.
Okay.
So, this communication is a different communication. There are some systems, because of internet connectivity, they cannot talk back.
Okay.
So, you require that information to reside somewhere closer. So, probably it is edge computing. So, if this is my AI system and it requires to do small job, the training data is residing here. This is known as AI on the edge.
Okay.
The example we spoke about cats, it is not a big data. So, maybe that each camera has got the cat database on the camera. So, that's AI on the edge. Maybe you require more data than the edge, but you cannot go back to the cloud, so you have something known as fog. So, there are different types of computing. You have cloud, you have fog, you have edge. There is another scope of information. Now, when the programming or when the algorithms are working, they have to work optimally. You require hardware to work on it.
Yes.
The traditional hardware may not suit it. You require to create new hardware. You require new types of processors. Now, processors, when they work, they use power. They require temperature control. Now, you require power management. You require hardware which is cheaper. Maybe you require more number of hardwares. So, you require hardware with layers. You require hardware which are smaller form factor. So, AI is not only programming. It is about data, it is about communication, it is about hardware, it is about power management. It is a huge field. And it is, as you want AI to do more jobs, it will require more input, it will require a lot of complex issues to be resolved to. So, the field is growing and there is no end to this field. It's a huge field.
Understandable. All right. Thank you, Brigadier Bhardwaj. I'm sure we've just heard the tip of the iceberg. It is a huge field and it is capable of assisting human beings in doing our daily tasks. I thank you and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you for having me over. Thank you.